Hey guys, welcome to The Sports Entertainer. We have a ton of major wrestling news to share with you guys today, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss out on an episode. We start off today's wrestling news with a bit of very interesting news regarding a wrestler that performed in WWE during the Attitude Era, and that said wrestler is none other than Ken Shamrock. Now, for the longest time, no one could have imagined that Ken Shamrock would be brought back to WWE, whether on screen, behind the scenes, or even really being mentioned by the company in any way, shape, or form. However, there was a pretty big news update yesterday which revealed that Ken Shamrock and WWE had come to terms on a new deal, likely a Legends contract, as new Ken Shamrock merchandise has been released on WWEshop.com, which is pretty surprising news in all honesty. While this doesn't mean fans need to get ready for a Ken Shamrock return to WWE on television, at least not yet, as you would expect, Shamrock and WWE working out this new deal has led many fans to believe perhaps Shamrock could be a Hall of Fame inductee next year for the class of 2024. Some fans are even asking WWE to try including Shamrock in the video game. Regardless, nice to hear that. The world's most dangerous man is back in WWE in some capacity, and who knows, maybe the fans are right. Maybe Ken Shamrock is in fact heading to the Hall of Fame next year. And do you guys feel Shamrock deserves to go into the WWE Hall of Fame? Now, when CM Punk made his thunderous return to WWE at Survivor Series last weekend, fans instantly felt a new level of buzz come over the WWE, and that buzz clearly carried over to Monday Night Raw 2 days later on November 27th, because that episode of Monday Night Raw garnered an incredible 1.884 million viewers across the 3-hour broadcast with a 0.65 rating, which was up 29% from the previous week and 13% compared to last year, clearly showing the drawing power of the cult of personality CM Punk. Also noteworthy is that in the age demographic of 18 to 49, last week's CM Punk return episode of Raw viewership was up 34% from the previous week and up 64% from last year. However, that increased buzz didn't carry over to this week's edition of Raw, because the show this week garnered 1.533 million viewers with a 0.49 rating, and this show did not feature an in-person segment involving CM Punk, just a rerun from his return to Raw the week prior, so the fact that Raw lacked CM Punk this week and didn't advertise him for the show could have resulted in the ratings falling a bit, which again shows that more casual fans were tuning in to see CM Punk, and when he wasn't advertised to be appearing live at the show, they decided not to watch Raw this week. However, CM Punk cannot be the only factor listed for why last week's Raw did such a big rating, because it was simply the fallout episode after Survivor Series, but there's no doubt Punk's return was a big contributing factor for sure, so his drawing ability is still clearly there, and WWE will definitely be planning to utilize Punk on more shows moving forward to get a spike in ratings. Now, most of you guys are probably aware that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the former Undisputed Tag Team Champions, have been written off of WWE television with storyline injuries, and WWE have taken things one step further in removing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because interestingly enough, WWE have replaced Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on their official website under the Superstars banner, with the recently returning Randy Orton replacing Kevin Owens on the banner, and CM Punk replacing Sami Zayn. Hopefully this doesn't mean Owens and Zayn are going to be out of action from WWE for any length of time. Some wrestling fans were screaming the phrase injury prone after some news was revealed last night that AEW's Bryan Danielson was injured once again during the AEW Collision taping, and Bryan literally hasn't even been back in action for a week after just returning from injury, a broken orbital bone to be exact. Now, some footage went around from yesterday's Collision taping that Bryan Danielson had basically injured his eye once again during his match against Andrade, with a cut being shown above the same eye that was previously injured. However, we're glad we waited before reporting on this because one source, Fightful Select, has updated the situation, and thankfully Bryan Danielson has not actually been injured again, and this scare with Andrade was a part of an angle, so nothing for fans to worry about. Still pretty crazy that AEW are letting Danielson continue wrestling after just getting orbital bone surgery regardless. Now, with the sale of WWE to Endeavor to merge with the UFC to create the new combined company TKO, Clearly, those in power are planning to make some changes to WWE that might not sit well with wrestling fans, and one of those said changes was revealed yesterday regarding house shows. Apparently, WWE could be cutting down on the number of house shows put on in the future, with the TKO COO, Mark Shapiro, basically revealing that the house shows WWE has done on Saturdays and Sundays may be coming to an end. Here's exactly what Mark Shapiro had to say on the matter at a recent UBS conference, quote, "While there's a reason to have them because it's good for the brand, we're building an audience, we're putting them on in C and D counties, so we're really stretching the brand and we're amassing a greater array of eyeballs from all demos, so it's good for our long-term growth. Through a margin perspective, they are dilutive. So there's probably an opportunity as we go through our efficiencies and our synergy opportunities to cut back on some of those non-televised events, which will push our margin up, so we are going through that exercise now." Let us know your thoughts on the TKO COO Mark Shapiro, making it clear that WWE could be cutting back on house shows moving forward. Is this something that would upset you as it means less events for wrestling fans to attend? Or would this be better for the WWE's bottom line and wouldn't be that big of a deal? Now we all remember Triple H's big, life-threatening health scare back in 2021, which resulted in Hunter immediately hanging up the boots from wrestling for good after the cardiac event. And while this was a truly scary time for wrestling fans, former WWE champion Randy Orton revealed on a recent podcast with Logan Paul, the Impulsive podcast, that there was some good that came out of that truly unfortunate Triple H health scare situation, and that it left a massive impact on the company, and one for the better. Here's what Randy Orton had to say regarding the impacts in WWE from Triple H's health scare, quote, "I think recently for him, because he had the health scare and everything, I think he realizes how important family time is. That is one thing that has changed. I think back in the day, you were missing birthdays, you were missing anniversaries, you were missing holidays, and there was no either way about it, like you wouldn't even ask for off. Now, there is leniency there. Now, he will make sure that you will get home for the birth of your baby, or make sure that you get home for that birthday, because he understands now how important that is. I think company-wide, that has been a change for the better." Let us know your guys' thoughts on Randy Orton feeling as though some positive changes have occurred in WWE because of Triple H's health scare. Do you feel like WWE superstars should get time off for important occasions despite their busy schedule? Now, wrestling legend Rob Van Dam has shared his thoughts and opinions on CM Punk's WWE return at Survivor Series, as well as Triple H's comments regarding CM Punk, and clearly RVD thinks CM Punk could be a lot easier to get along with behind the scenes now. Here's what RVD had to say on his one-of-a-kind podcast, quote, "Triple H said, if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, you're doing something wrong, because we're all growing, and I thought, wow, man. It's cool to know that he gets it. We all learn from every experience. I wouldn't be surprised if CM Punk was a lot easier to get along with, compared to before, when he had an overly prevalent chip on his shoulder. It's awesome that CM Punk has been able to captivate the interest of the fans for so long." Now, RVD is definitely spot on when he says that Punk was probably a lot easier to get along with now compared to before. Otherwise, we doubt that WWE would have been able to work out a return deal for CM Punk if he had the same attitude about WWE as before. Well guys, that's it for today's major wrestling news. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you'll never miss out on an episode. Finally, if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter at TSE Wrestling, and we will see you guys in the next video.